Disowned by my family at a young age, I never thought I would see them again. But fate has a way of bringing people back together. At a lavish wedding, I unexpectedly crossed paths with them once more. And the moment they saw me, their contempt was undeniable. My mother sneered, "Why is that useless girl here?" My sister smirked, "You weren't invited." But just as her husband was about to throw me out, he suddenly froze. His expression changed, his voice unsteady. "Wait, this woman is—" I simply smiled and said, "You really have no idea, do you? My name is Maya Ford, and I'm 30 years old. I live with my husband, Adam, who is 5 years my senior, and our 5-year-old son. Today, I'm attending a wedding with Adam. While the bride and groom are familiar acquaintances, it's Adam who has a stronger connection with them. I only recognize them by sight. The wedding is at a luxury hotel, and although I know it's improper, I can't help but wonder just how much all of this costs." Adam mentioned he was going to mingle with some people at the event, so I excused myself to use the restroom. As I was leaving the ladies' room to return to the ceremony, I overheard some unpleasant voices. "Well, look who it is, that defective piece of goods. What's she doing in a place like this?" "What do you mean, Mom?" "Goodness, you're right. Why is she even here? We didn't invite her." I could feel the sting of their words. They weren't even bothering to whisper anymore, they were throwing insults with such ease. Still, they hadn't addressed me directly, and I wanted nothing to do with people so blatantly rude. So I tried to hurry away. "Hey, don't walk away from me, you ugly thing. I know you can hear me." I wasn't sure if they had just called out to me, but I chose to ignore it. Ugly thing wasn't my name. As I walked quickly down the hallway, I heard footsteps following behind me, making me jump. This is ridiculous. They should have given up by now. Why keep embarrassing themselves like this? As I thought that, someone suddenly grabbed my arm. Apparently they had sprinted to catch up with me. Their nails dug sharply into my skin. "I told you to wait!" the woman snapped, out of breath. I looked her up and down before shaking off her hand. As I did, she stumbled dramatically, letting out a theatrical cry. Honestly, what a pointless show. "Elle, are you all right? How violent she is!" Another woman, who had been trailing behind, gasped as she came to support the first. Then, she shot me a furious look. "Excuse me, but what's going on here? Who do you think you are?" "Who am I? Are you really asking me that?" I replied, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "You seem like a self-absorbed, rude person. Have we met before?" Her perfectly shaped eyebrows shot up. "What's your problem? How dare you talk to me like that? If you've really forgotten, let me remind you. I'm your sister, Elle. Does that ring a bell now? Surely even your disappointing brain can recall that. And this," she said, gesturing to the woman beside her, "is our mother. Don't tell me you've forgotten your own mother, too?" Well, I suppose someone by that name might have been close to me once upon a time. I tilt my head. These people aren't worth engaging with seriously. My response seems to anger them both further. Just then, 2 men come running up. "Hey, what's all the commotion? We could hear the shouting from over there. Elle, are you finished with preparations? Oh wait, you're still in your regular clothes. You need to change quickly. Dad! Ron! This person! There's an intruder who's crashed our wedding. Please throw her out right now." Elle, as she calls herself, points at me while shouting. Didn't anyone teach her it's rude to point at people? The 2 men's reactions upon seeing me were complete opposites. The man called Dad widened his eyes, then scowled with obvious displeasure. The man called Ron froze with a shocked expression, the color draining from his face. Why is she here? I never thought I'd have to see her face on such a happy day. Right! She must have snuck in here by mistake. This is awful. Please call security right away. Hey, what are you saying? Watch your mouth. This person is Dr. Ford, Ron shouts with a pale face. Seeing this, I mutter quietly, "So, you really don't know anything, do you?" No one notices my muttered words. "Maya, so this is where you were. I was looking for you," says a new arrival, my husband Adam. Everyone's attention turns to him at once. Adam looks slightly taken aback. "Sorry, I meant to come right back, but I got caught up with some strange people," I say with a wry smile as I move closer to him. Adam blinks and looks around at everyone present. Then he mutters, "Ah, it seems he's quickly grasped the situation. That's my Adam." Elle, who had been staring at Adam in admiration when he suddenly appeared, quickly switches back to glaring at me when I stand beside him. The two called father and mother still wore confused expressions, as if they haven't fully processed the situation. Ron, meanwhile, is clearly flustered. He's also the first to speak up. Doctor? Ford, I'm so sorry. It seems my wife has been very rude. And, my deepest apologies to your wife as well. Hey! Elle, you apologize too. What? Why should I apologize? She's the one who should be apologizing. This shameless person who snuck into our important wedding. I don't know how she found out about it, but this woman is our family's shame. We threw her out of the house long ago and we were supposed to never see her face again. What family, you say? Adam seems surprised by this word and looks back and forth between Elle and me. The man and woman called father and mother quickly jump in to explain. Oh, I'm sorry, Ron. You see, we have a good-for-nothing eldest daughter. She's such an embarrassment we couldn't even bring ourselves to mention her. Well, we threw her out of the house 9 years ago. Really? I wonder how she found out about Elle's wedding, showing up here like this. What could she be planning? She's not trying to ruin Elle's wedding, is she? That's right. She was a foolish daughter who couldn't even get into college, just a useless defect. She wasted her time with part-time jobs after graduation and lazed around the house, being nothing but a nuisance. She was quite the parasite. We should be thanked for taking care of her through high school. The insults keep coming. However, I had long since given up on this family and had learned to gracefully ignore all manner of verbal abuse. Yes, technically, these people are my family. That's what the family register says. However, my parents doted on my sister, who is 6 years younger than me, and I was completely neglected from the time I could remember. My father's family had been doctors for generations and ran a medical clinic. My mother worked there as a nurse. On the surface, we probably looked like a family that wanted for nothing, but in reality, it was a family poisoned by toxicity. When I was a child, I think there were times when I tried hard to be loved by my parents, but after hearing their incomprehensible reason that my sister is cute and you're not for always prioritizing my sister, I stopped expecting anything from my family. Fortunately, if I do say so myself, I was smart and liked studying, so I focused on studying hard to get out of the house as soon as possible. By that time, I think I was already playing the role of the failed older sister to my family. Listen here. We won't allow you to go to college. You're just a defective good-for-nothing anyway. There's no way you could get into college. You'll start working right after high school, and you'll give us money. You need to properly repay us for raising someone as unlovely as you. That's right. You've always lacked gratitude. College expenses? We might consider it for 1 lakh, but we won't spend another penny on you. You'll spend your life serving this household. Well, I doubt you could get a decent job anyway. My parents told me this in my 3rd year of high school. By the way, I recorded that conversation, and I've kept it until today. By the time I was in high school, I was recording almost every abusive word and unreasonable treatment from my family. Elle, my sister, completely looked down on me due to our parents' unchanging attitude and constantly tried to assert her superiority. I'm going to become a doctor and take over Dad's practice. I'll work hard for Big Sister's share too. Oh, how wonderful of you to say that. Yes, use her as an example of what not to be. Don't worry, Elle, you can do it. That's right, we'll support you all the way. Unlike your sister. Elle, you're truly our pride and joy. They would have these exchanges right in front of me, deliberately showing off. Yes, it was all just a charade. After graduating high school, I worked various part-time jobs as a freelancer for about 3 years. I did live at home during this time. Despite finding my presence annoying, they wouldn't let me leave the house on my own, probably because they wanted to keep me around to use as they pleased. But the truth was, I had secretly rented an apartment, They would say things like, "We won't forgive you if you do this," or "We won't forgive you if you don't do that." But I realized that once I became an adult, I no longer needed my family's forgiveness for anything. Of course, there were complexities finding a guarantor and other details to handle. Since I underreported my part-time income, I managed to keep the money they demanded for the household to a minimum. I also began investing and slowly built up my savings. Then, when my sister was preparing for her high school entrance exams, I was kicked out of the house under the convenient excuse that she can't concentrate on studying with you around. My parents had hoped to forgive me and let me return once things calmed down, but I seized the opportunity to leave for good. They must have been shocked that I, the one they thought couldn't survive on my own, didn't come back. But I'm sure they quickly lost interest. After all, my parents only needed my sister. It's been 9 years since then, hasn't it? As I lost myself in these memories, the argument between my sister and Ron, her fiancé, was escalating. Oh, right. Today's their wedding, these two are getting married. The invitation may have had my sister's name on it, but I didn't pay much attention. I thought it was just another person with the same name. That's how irrelevant this family had become to me. I'm telling you, why are you defending that woman? I've always said she's an intruder. Her presence here is ruining everything. Throw her out. And I've been telling you, I invited them to this wedding. You checked the invitation list with me, didn't you? They've already checked in at reception. They're proper guests. Now apologize for being so rude earlier. The two of them bickered, their voices rising. Is it really okay for them to be fighting like this before the ceremony? While I pondered this, my father suddenly looked in our direction and his face froze in realization. Could he be the son of Ford General Hospital? What? Ford General Hospital? That massive hospital? You mean the director's son? At these words, my mother's eyes widened in shock. A hospital director's son? All their attention, my parents, my sister, and her fiancé, focused on us at once. Adam gave a slight bow. How do you do? I'm Adam Ford. This is my wife, Maya. I also gave a gentle bow, offering a sweet, polite smile. Indeed, Adam's parents are both accomplished doctors who run a long-established, prestigious hospital. Adam is their heir, and he's a promising doctor who constantly hones his skills. My parents gaped, their mouths opening and closing like fish, watching me smile with poise and grace. My sister's husband quickly intervened, trying to regain control of the situation. Oh, what a coincidence that Dr. Ford's wife is my wife's sister. This makes us family, Doctor. Alan, thank you for seeing our son the other day. I cut off his words. This man, Alan Ron, who is becoming my sister's husband, is also a doctor. He works at a university hospital and recently examined our son who hasn't been feeling well lately. That's the extent of our relationship, although it seems Adam has had various professional interactions with him before. Apparently, Alan admires Adam. How is your son doing? Based on my examination, he needs immediate treatment. Please come to our hospital for initial testing and dash. Ah, well, we decided to get another opinion afterward. You know how important second opinions are, right? As I continue with a sweet smile, he freezes completely. It seems Alan sees my son as a VIP patient. That's why he's so desperate to treat him at his hospital. However, it's not pleasant to have a patient, especially my own son, viewed as a cash cow. I reject him with a smile. Then there's a derisive snort. What's this? Are you trying to get back at us just because you're a high school graduate? You think you're something special for catching a doctor husband? How stupid can you be? Just because you married the heir to a big hospital doesn't make you any more important. Your education level hasn't changed. Your thinking is so shallow and you even have a son. How pitiful for a child to have such a defective person as a mother. Hey, Elle, that's enough. This whole time, they're blood relatives, aren't they? Why do you keep saying such things? Alan hurriedly tries to stop her. However, Elle glares at him. She absolutely believes everything she says is right. Suddenly, Adam turns to me and asks, Maya, are these people really your family? No, they're not family at all. After all, family doesn't suddenly yell at you for unreasonable things, or withhold food for a day just for spilling a little on the table, or give me hand-me-downs from who knows where while giving my sister brand-name dresses and laughing at the comparison, or throw away my study materials saying, "You're stupid anyway, so you don't need these." They don't ruin textbooks by soaking them in water, right? So these people aren't family anymore. You're right. Family doesn't throw you outside barefoot in winter for not lending a book to your sister, or lock you in a storage shed in summer calling it discipline. They don't sell your belongings without permission, or say to your face that they'll work you like a slave for life. Even the neighbors noticed something was wrong with how the clinic treated the sisters differently, suspecting abuse, and stopped bringing their children to a clinic where parents would treat their child that way. I'm surprised nobody reported them for child abuse back then. Now their business is suffering because of it, but they haven't even realized why. It's really something else. During our matter-of-fact exchange, revealing the awful treatment I received in the past, Alan is staring wide-eyed and my parents are surprised too. Surprised that their daughter who left home long ago knew about their clinic's declining business. By the way, this information came from my in-laws' investigation. My in-laws are very sympathetic about the treatment I received and get even angrier about it than I do. They're kind people, and Adam is the same way. They had been investigating my parents' clinic thinking it might be useful someday for revenge, perhaps. "Hey, stop telling lies. We never did any of that. It's your fault for being a failure." "Ron, don't believe what this woman says," my sister shouts defiantly, but I think it's too late. Alan was looking at her with disgust. If only she hadn't chased after me when I tried to ignore her and leave, this wouldn't have happened. "No, you're the one who's been lying all along. What do you mean? You said Dr. Ford's wife only graduated high school. She's a college graduate who started a company and is its president, a medical food-related company that even our hospital relies on." "What? President?" My sister looks at me like she's seeing something unbelievable. My parents wore the same expression. "Don't you dare lie. You only graduated high school. What's this about college? Are you saying you went to college without telling us?" "Yes, I did. After all, I was an adult, and I had no reason to report anything to people who weren't really family anymore, right? How dare you speak to your parents that way? We told you we wouldn't allow you to go to college. And why exactly did I need your permission?" When I respond with exasperation, my parents grind their teeth. During my time as a part-time worker, after high school graduation, I had saved up a considerable amount of money. I used part of it for college expenses. There were still things I wanted to learn and things I wanted to do. Once I left home, I was completely free and could do anything. I met my current husband during college while I was starting my company. Thinking back on it makes me nostalgic again. Meanwhile, my sister was muttering something with a pale face. It's a lie. Because this one was a defective failure, a useless older sister who couldn't do anything on her own. I thought she must have died in a gutter somewhere after being thrown out of the house, but instead she even went to college, and now she's a company president, and she caught the heir to a big hospital. Why? I was supposed to be the one who would definitely be happier. Why? Why are you more successful than me? Why do you look so happy? I wonder why. Maybe because I kept working hard without becoming bitter even while receiving unreasonable treatment from my family. Well, I guess I was pretty lucky too. I said this while looking back at my sister. Then I dropped a bombshell. By the way, I heard you actually dropped out of middle school. Is that true? With those words, the atmosphere froze completely. The former family members and Alan all went rigid. What? What are you suddenly talking about? Who dropped out of middle school? My sister's nerve to talk back is impressive even now. Actually, I heard from our kind aunt who's always been good to me after I left home. You got complacent thinking you could easily get into any prestige school and didn't study at all. Then you showed up on exam day and turned in almost blank papers. Of course you failed. Then you threw tantrums at home and became a shut-in. You only started going out recently. That was after our parents introduced you to Dr. Allen as a suitable marriage partner, and only then did you finally break out of being a shut-in. As I speak, Alan's face grows increasingly stern. In contrast, my parents and sister lose more and more color. The aunt who told me this is a distant relative on my father's side. She's a gossip who somehow always knows everything and tells me about it. Though we'd only met 2 or 3 times when I was little, she always looked out for me and even became my guarantor. You stop spreading lies. My sister tries to object with a trembling voice, but I ignore her and continue. Also, you're supposedly working as a medical office clerk at the family clinic, but that's a lie too, isn't it? You don't actually have any qualifications and are just working as an odd jobs helper, right? They can't assign specialized work to someone without qualifications. I'm glad to see they retained at least that much ethical sense. Stop it. Those are all lies. Everything you're saying is a lie. Is that so? Well, I'm just telling you what I've heard. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. When I say this, my sister whirls around to face Alan. His expression is filled with suspicion, confusion, and disgust. Elle, you told me and our parents that you graduated from a famous women's university, then got your qualifications and were helping at the family clinic, right? Was it all lies? Academic fraud? This is fraud. You deceived me. That's not true, Ron. Don't believe what this woman says. Ron, you're my husband, right? Believe me. Then tell me the name of just one professor from the university you attended. When Alan presses her like this, my sister freezes. That's not relevant now. Oh no, then I'll call one of the professors from the department you claim to attend right now. They're acquaintances of my parents, they know me, their son, and we socialize as families. I'll ask if there was ever a student named Elle. Alan says this while reaching for smartphone. Stop it. There's no need for that. If you would just believe me, that should be enough. My sister lunges for Alan's phone, snatches it and slams it to the floor. Don't try to verify anything, just believe me. Then she grinds the phone further with her heel. Her expression is demonic. Alan is clearly put off, and my stunned parents hurriedly try to stop my sister. Other wedding guests and venue staff gather, drawn by the commotion. It turned into quite a spectacle. The truth is, it felt like someone else's problem, and that was because I no longer felt any connection to them. My family now consists solely of my husband and son. Well, shall we head home? We've given the wedding gift. We've fulfilled our social obligations, right? Are you sure you're finished, Maya? My husband asked with a subtle look, as if checking if I had said everything I wanted to, if I had gotten my revenge. I responded with a bright smile. I don't care anymore. Let's go home. Oh, how about we stop by the cake shop in this hotel on our way out? I've been dying to try their super luxury cake. Sure, let's do that. Let's buy some cake to take home. We laughed together and left the wedding venue. Sometime later, I heard that Alan had been sued for exaggerating diagnoses and charging excessive medical fees. Then, my parents came looking for my help, though. Of course, they didn't have my contact information. I heard they showed up at my husband's hospital, making a scene, demanding to see me. And my husband, listen here. You're the wife of this hospital's heir. She's our daughter. Let us see her right now. You can contact the heir through this hospital, can't you? We're in trouble here. She's family. She has to help us. We're just asking her to repay us for raising her. That's right. I never thought she'd be useful, but I guess raising her was worth it. Who would have thought she'd marry someone even better than Elle? Of course, the son-in-law should help us. They were apparently causing quite a scene at the reception. But instead of me or my husband, it was my in-laws who came out to meet them. My in-laws, it seems, silenced my parents with a single glare and said, "What do you want with our daughter?" My parents froze, like frogs before a snake, and scrambled away. They tried to reach out again after that, but eventually, their neglect caught up with them and their clinic closed down quickly. When I heard about it, I felt nothing. Then, I found out that my sister and her husband had divorced. Honestly, I was surprised their marriage even lasted a few months. Perhaps Alan getting sued and fired from the hospital was the final straw. My sister began making misguided attempts to prove she could be happier than me. First, she got involved with a married doctor more than 20 years her senior, trying to catch a better husband than mine. However, the affair was quickly discovered, and a scandal erupted when the doctor's wife demanded compensation. My sister, apparently, turned to our parents for help, but they turned their backs on her, disowning her as a family disgrace. I have no idea what happened to her after that. I've heard various rumors that she started working in nightclubs, her health deteriorating, and that she became homeless. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. As for my parents, I heard they were desperately looking for work as doctors and nurses, but no hospital would hire a couple their age, nearing retirement. Of course, these were just rumors about my parents, probably the result of how they had treated me, which had spread throughout the medical community. But I had no time to waste thinking about people who weren't even family anymore. After getting a second opinion at another hospital, my son's health issues were resolved with medication, without needing hospitalization. I protect my family. Always have, always will. And just like that, the past was left behind. Now, it's time to reflect and learn from this story. Maya's story isn't just about revenge, it's about resilience, growth, and breaking free from toxic relationships. For years, her family tried to convince her that she was worthless, but in the end, they were the ones left behind. She didn't seek vengeance. She simply lived well, thrived, and that was the greatest victory. True success isn't about proving others wrong, it's about proving yourself right. This story also serves as a powerful lesson in karma. Those who belittled her, mocked her, and discarded her ultimately faced their downfall due to their own arrogance. Her parents lost everything, her sister's lies were exposed, and those who once cast her aside were left with nothing but regret. But the most remarkable thing? Maya didn't have to lift a finger, she just kept moving forward, and the past crumbled on its own. What do you think? If you were in Maya's shoes, would you choose to forgive, or would you make them pay even more? Share your thoughts in the comments.